So hey guys, and welcome to this fourth lecture on mesh analysis and modified nodal analysis. Mesh analysis is basically nothing but the loop analysis for planar circuits. And if we try and look at this example where we have three loops and or three meshes, and we want to analyze the circuit, you can try writing the Kirchhoff's voltage law equation for each of these meshes, and then try and form a matrix just like we did in the case of nodal analysis. So if we write it for V1, we are going to just get this equation as shown, and like similarly for mesh 2 and mesh 3, we are just going to get the equations as shown. Like if you look at this mesh 1, it will just be I1 R11, like V1 minus I1 R11 minus of I1 minus I3 into R13 minus of I1 minus I2 into R12. So similarly, we can write equations for other meshes too. And so we'll have three equations basically. So just like we did previously, we can try and get these variables that are I1, I2 and I3 into a vector, and the resistances into another vector. So if we get the resistances into another vector, we have these terms here, R11 plus R12 plus R13 and various other terms. And this I1, I2, I3 is going to be our variable vector. And on the right hand side, we have our source vector. Since we have two voltage sources that are connected, we have our source vector V1 minus V2 and 0. And this can just be written as R matrix into I is equals to V. So if you want to find I, it's just the inverse of R matrix into the voltage vector or the source vector. And if you try and look at this resistance matrix, another thing which you can say about this is that if you try and look at the diagonal elements, it is basically just the sum of resistances in that particular mesh. Like for the first mesh, R11, R13 and R12 are present. So just the sum of these three resistances is going to be a diagonal element for this first mesh. And similarly, we can say the same for mesh 2 and mesh 3. And let's say we have an independent current source like we had an independent voltage source in the previous nodal analysis case. So if we have an independent current source, what we can say is that instead of using the supernode concept we used previously, you can try and introduce something called the super mesh, and it's pretty analogous to supernode, where we consider two nodes as one. So here we'll consider two loops as one, and try and get simpler equations, just like we did previously. Now, if you try and look at what modified nodal analysis is, modified nodal analysis is nothing but an extension of our typical nodal analysis. The only difference is that here we have a more systematic way of setting up our equations. Like and the variable vector is not just the node voltages, but along with the node voltages, we are also going to take the currents through each of the voltage source and also the controlling currents. Okay, so I mean, along with the node voltages, we have an extra pair of some extra variables also, which will be a part of our variable vector. And whenever we are trying to set up equations for our modified nodal analysis, the first step we do is to form our variable vector. And after forming our variable vector, what we do is each element that we have in a circuit is going to have some contribution to either this variable vector or the G vector here. G in our typical nodal analysis cases is the conductance matrix, but here we can't just say it's the conductance matrix because we have a lot of other variables and a lot of other things which are going to analyze. So just each element will contribute something to either the G matrix or the variable vector. So the contribution of each element is what is known as our stamp. And when we want to set up these MNA equations, what we do is we try and look at the stamp of each element and then add all of these stamps. The individual contributions are just added up, and this can be done because using the principle of superposition for our linear network, and just try and add all these stamps and just get our modified nodal analysis equations. So one doubt you might have is how exactly are we going to introduce these controlling currents? Let's say we have some element through which a current of Ix is flowing. I mean, we can't directly include it in our variable vector because it's neither a node voltage or some current that is flowing through a voltage source. So instead, what we can do is, let's say we have this wire here, like M, and let's say we take some other point M1, which is literally at the same potential, and between these 2 points, we'll connect a voltage source of 0 volts. I mean, we are unnecessarily complicating it so that our setting up of MNA equations becomes easier. But the circuit which we have here is just as good as the one which we have on our left hand side. So if you connect this 0 volt voltage source between M and some other point, the current is now flowing through some 0 volt voltage source. So now since the current is flowing through some 0 volt voltage source, it becomes an auxiliary variable, and hence we can now include it in our variable vector, and it becomes like a controlling current in our variable vector. So this M and some other point M1 are basically connected by a 0 volt voltage source, so that this current, this controlling current is going to become a part of our variable vector in this variable vector.